Welcome, everyone. My name is Terry with Plano Public Library, and I want to thank you all for joining us for STEAM Skills website development. Your microphones have been muted and videos turned off for this program. Please note that if you have any questions, you can post in chat. We will monitor the chat and bring questions to the presenter's attention. The presenters and chat moderators will get to as many questions as we can during the program. All relevant links for the program today will be posted into the chat. Today, we have the honor of introducing the Society of Women Engineers. SWE motivates women to achieve full potential in careers as engineers and leaders, expands the image of the engineering profession as a positive force in improving the quality of life, and demonstrates the value of diversity. The Society of Women Engineers will present the STEAM Skills 5-week course on website development. Housekeeping reminders that we would like to share with everyone. Note that this program is being recorded and will be made available on the Plano Public Library YouTube page for later viewing. Soliciting business or selling merchandise during library virtual programs is prohibited. Please be considerate of our presenters and one another throughout the program. Any inappropriate behavior will result in your removal from today's program. I will now hand it over to our presenters.
Alrighty, so hi everyone. Congrats on making it this far into week 5 of our web development series. So far throughout the past 4 weeks, we've been trying to build this website that is like an e-commerce website. Basically, it's like a website that like shows a bunch of clothing that's on sale. And we've just been laying out like all the elements on it using HTML and CSS, which are 2 programming languages. So if you've made it this far, congratulations, you're like super skilled at HTML and CSS now, and I really believe that both you're like super confident in making your own websites, and I really encourage y'all to just like continue just building on those skills and continue practicing. Just like use like the boilerplates on like replit.com and just continue to like build your own stuff, you know, be creative, whatever you feel like. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen with like what the finished website basically looks like. We're going to be adding just like one small little piece of code today, but for the most part, we're like done with the whole website building part of it. And if you guys have any questions, you can like hold those for the end, and you know, we can just like try to answer those and try to add onto our website any new features that you guys want. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so this is our like Replit page that we've been like working on so far for like the past 4 weeks. We've written all of this like HTML code, and let me just like show like what the full website looks like. If we click this like arrow that pops out, and you guys can like open up your own REPL repository as well if you guys are like caught up with everything. This is what the finished website should look like. So you guys might not have these like bottom 3 images. That's just something that we added in. It's basically the same thing as these top 2 images. And so just to go over like the layout of the website, basically you have this like top part of it, which is like the title of the website. You have this nav bar where you can like click on different links and go to other like pages on the site. So if we click on clearance, it'll, okay, well we haven't linked that one yet, but if we click on the women's page, it should take us to the women's clothing site. And then if we go back to the home page, then if we scroll down, these images are also clickable. So if we click on the women's page, that should also have something called a hyperlink. Hyperlink is basically just like a link to another website. So this should like link to the women's clothing page once we click on it. And we have all of these items laid out in a grid. If you remember back from our code, we had a bunch of like grid items. So like grid container, grid item top, grid item top. So basically what all this was doing was laying out things in a grid. And we did a similar thing on the women's clothing.html page, where similarly, we also had like various like grid items, which we made using these things called divs. A div is just a container. And we basically just like style these like different divs or containers to appear in a grid-like structure. So, and then once we scroll down, we have this bottom part here. Yeah, we added a lot of sections, but you guys probably might only have like the top part of this, the part that says tops. So if we scroll all the way down, then we have this footer, and the footer is basically divided into 5 columns. So we have the runway section, the about us section, the help section, follow, and the email button, which the email button doesn't actually work. A lot of these buttons, like you might notice, are just like static. You can't actually like click on them to go to any like particular link. They're just pictures. And we got these pictures by pulling from this folder called assets. And this basically contains all of the pictures like Facebook logo, Instagram logo, other things like that. So yeah, so just as a recap, we had index.html, which styled our homepage. And then we had style.css, which isn't really a page that we can like see. It's just like how we add styling to our various pages. So how we added styling to these images, or how we added like this blue border behind this like font size on the title, all of these things are basically just styling that we add from style.css. And how we basically designate a certain part of the website to be styled is we try to match this class name right here. This title is called a class name. So like dot header, right? So all of this styling, like let's say for example, like align, center, text align, whatever, like all of these different style attributes, like this color, this width, this height, how it's justified, like is it in the center or is it left or right? Like basically all of these styles are going to be applied to any item that's labeled header, right? So if we go back into our index.html, anything that has the label header is going to have that style. So if we scroll down right here, this has a div class header, so it matches up. Okay, and so we do have just like one last piece of code to add today. If anyone is just doesn't have any of the code, I can like walk you through that as well. Or actually that's in like the previous recordings, and all the code has now been like posted in the YouTube video like descriptions. So if you go to like the Plano Public Library like YouTube video recordings, I think earlier today in an email, that information was also sent out. So all the code from the past few weeks, if you want like all of the code just all at once, you can definitely just skip to like week 4, but I would recommend going through it like week 1, 2, 3, 4, just to like get the full experience and build the website like piece by piece. Like in week 1, you'll start by building up the header and stuff. And then you'll move into like Nav Bar and footer and things like that. And then in week 4 is when we build this women's clothing page. And yeah. So just to like add another piece of code today, the only piece of code that we really have to add today is this part right here, which is like this vertical nav bar. So we already worked on like this horizontal nav bar, where like all the links show up like horizontally. And so we have the links like laid out horizontally. So now we're just gonna like try to lay all these out vertically. And really that's like a pretty simple like thing to add. It's only like 10 lines of code in total. I'm pretty sure it's like 5 lines in the 5 lines in the women's clothing.html because it's on the women's clothing page. And then it's 5 lines of code on like the style.css page. So if we scroll down, this is the section that's for week 5. Basically, this is the only change that we're making. I can just go ahead and like paste this into like maybe a Google Doc and share it with y'all. We'll just give it a minute. Okay, so once I paste that in, yeah, so this is going to be the code for the vertical nav bar. Basically, in the HTML, we don't have any styling, right? So all we have is just like these static links. These aren't really linked to anything. Just this hashtag symbol just means that it's not linked to anything. That's just an HTML thing. So in HTML, if you just want to indicate that it's not really a link, it's just there for show. It just means that we're planning to add a link there in the future. So if we were to add like a top section or bottom section or something like that, we could theoretically add that in. And basically what these things are linking to is like, if you've ever been on those websites where you can like, if we click tops, it's going to go to this section. If you go to bottoms, it's going to link to this section. And if we click on dresses, it's going to link to that section. So that functionality is not actually added in right now, but you guys can definitely look into that. And we can maybe like pass along some information in the near future on how to do that. But basically, that's going to be the HTML code for this time. And then the CSS code this time is yeah, so this is the week 5 vertical nav bar HTML code. I think that's about it for this time. Yeah, so I can just like title this like, and this has both the HTML and the CSS. So make sure to put this in style.css and make sure to put the top part in index.html. All right. And so just looking at like the code that does like the styling, all it does is it sets a width and then, yeah. I'll be sure to like post the link in the chat very soon. Let me do that. Okay. So here's the link. Oops, wow, wrong thing. I meant to send something else. This is the link. Okay. So basically in the CSS, we have this like class name called vertical nav, and that's going to style anything that has the class name vertical nav. And what do we have with the class name vertical nav? It's just and make sure to post this in a women's clothing.html, not index.html. You might have a different name for that file, but that doesn't really matter. If you have a file that says like women's clothing.html, just like paste it in there and make sure that this code goes inside. Let me just show you where the code is supposed to go. Make sure that you post this underneath like where you had the nav bar. So wherever your like nav bar code was, just like paste it right under that. Yeah, so what do you mean it's vertical, not horizontal? So the menu options are appearing vertical. Yeah, so yeah, but they haven't really like been styled yet. Like all of these like pictures are appearing, or the menu options, like which part, like the menu right here or the pictures? No pictures. Okay, so if you want the code on how to like style the pictures and make them appear in like a grid, you can go back into like the library's recordings, or earlier today an email was sent out and with all the links for the code, and you can basically just like follow the instructions and figure out how to do that. Yeah. So basically, you could even, if you want all the women's clothing.html code, you could even, it's in week 4. It's all in the week 4 section. The only thing that we're adding this time is just this vertical nav part. So once you guys pasted this into women's clothing.html, and then you pasted this in style.css, were you able to see like a vertical list of options? Like options meaning like a menu. Like were you able to see this? Yeah, so in the week 4 code, you guys can basically just like paste in pretty much all the code. Make sure to follow the file names, because on week 4 we didn't do anything with index.html. Index.html, remember, is our home page. We're not on the home page right now. We're on the women's clothing.html page. So make sure that when you paste the week 4 code, make sure that any code goes into this file and not index.html. So the HTML code should go in this file, and the CSS code should go in the style.css file as usual. And you can put the style.css code anywhere. Just make sure that it's like outside of the braces. So make sure that you don't have like for example, like this, like inside of this, like this is not what we want. We want it outside. So that is something important to know. Okay. Yeah, so basically once that's done, you should be able to see this like women's clothing page along with this like vertical nav bar on the side. And if anyone needs like help or if something's not working, just like let me know. And just to reiterate, like make sure that when you paste the code for this time that it's like outside of like, so you can like expand your window if it helps you see better. Basically you have this like div class, like nav bar container, div class header. Make sure that like the code for this week is not inside any of those. Make sure that it's like a separate div class. But yeah, we'll have the week 5 code like more nicely maybe cleaned up. Yes, exactly. It should be both vertical and horizontal. So the vertical one should look different. Like the name should be different. Like it's like tops, dresses, bottoms. Like it's different. But yeah, so doing a vertical nav bar was just like a nice exercise for us to have. Just to show that like you can style things however you want them to be. Like if you want elements to appear vertically, you can do that. You can make up elements appear horizontally. Really, HTML and CSS are super customizable, and that's why these languages are so powerful. Like you can make your website look however you want it to look. It's really just up to like how much you guys want to explore. There's this cool website called W3 Schools, HTML and CSS. So you can like basically just like search up like tutorials and how to style things the way that you want. But if you go through like W3 Schools, right, you can like learn how to customize things as much as you want. Like you can go through like fonts. You can add any fonts you want, any borders you want, anything like that. You can even like animate some stuff, maybe like create a drop-down menu. So there's just a lot of like cool things that you can add in. So let's just click like try it out yourself. So basically, if you click try it out, then this will be like a drop-down button. So yeah, this is just like one cool thing that you can do in HTML and CSS. I think this is specifically from the CSS section, but there's a lot of like other cool things that you can add. And it's, again, like I said, it's fully customizable. You could even like change the colors. You could do anything. You could call it like, instead of calling it link 1, you could call it like, yeah, like my link. And since it's an A tag, you can actually like link it to something. So you could actually put in something like, and it'll actually take you to like, hopefully, hopefully nothing. Yeah, if we enter the link correctly. It should. I'm not sure if it works inside of this editor, but periodically it would do that. So yeah, those are just like some cool features that we can try out with CSS. And this website called W3 Schools basically lets you like customize things how much ever you want. Okay. Yeah, so are there any other like questions? Do you guys think it's like cool? If you think it's cool, just say cool in the chat. Okay, one person thinks it's cool. That's that's okay. Yeah, you guys can like definitely look at older code from the last few sessions and just like follow along with that. We've definitely like recorded like hours of content going through like all this stuff. So hopefully that should be able to help you out. And yeah, so if you guys wanted to like further customize this, some options that I would give you like right now is like I would go ahead and just like implement maybe like the men's page, the jeans page, the shoes page, the clearance page, and you can just like add in whatever things you want. You can put images, you can put in like a title using like a H4 tag, like a H1 tag or something. You can put in like a title. What you can do actually in Replit is you can just click like duplicate, and that'll actually just like make a copy of this page. So you could like duplicate this and create like the men's clothing page, for example. And well, right now there's like not much on here, but right now this page is gonna look exactly like the women's clothing page, but we can definitely like customize it. So wherever it says like women's clothing, we can change that to men's clothing. Really, it's just like up to us, like how we want to customize this. So maybe we can like change this title. Let's see. Yeah, you could like change each of these like clothing items. Maybe you could like find a picture and just like upload it into the assets folder. You could just like take a picture, download it, and drop it into this folder. And then you could like put the link here. Notice how we like labeled the link. So we did a /assets. So that goes into the assets folder. And then the name of the picture. So the name of the picture in this folder was wj3.jpg for whatever picture that was. And we can like just customize it to whatever clothing item we want. So all of this is fully customizable. Like feel free to just like play around with it, make like any pages that you guys want. It's really just like up to you. So currently if we click on the men's page, because we duplicated this, it's just gonna look the exact same as the women's clothing page because we copied the same exact code. We click the duplicate button, that's gonna copy all the code like exactly. So you guys can definitely like feel free to play around with this. I would say this page doesn't really have a lot to change other than just the pictures. So something that I would just recommend you guys to do is maybe just search up like maybe like some men's clothing, maybe just like some like jackets or something, and then just like download those pictures, put them into this like folder, and then you can just like put the links here. So for example, you could change this link to like jacket dot whatever, like whatever the name is in here. And then that picture will show up here instead of like the picture of the shirt. You could get a picture of whatever clothing item you want. So it's fully customizable. I hope, like, I really do like encourage y'all to like, try it out, see how much you can make with it. You could even like just like change like the whole like purpose of this website. Like if you don't want to do a clothing website, you could even change it to like something else. So you're obviously not like tied to doing like a clothing website. It's just what we chose for like a tutorial. But let's say you wanted to like change the title or something like that, you're definitely free to do that. So let's say you didn't want to do like a runway website, you wanted to do something like sports news or something, right? You could just like totally change that. And instead of a runway website, we're on our way to building a sports news website, apparently, like ESPN or something. So it's really just up to you, like whatever you guys want to do. It's like a blank canvas, except we gave y'all a template for you to like build off of. You can just like modify things in here. Like we basically gave you instructions on how to build a nav bar, how to build a header, how to like make these things appear in a grid. And now you guys are just like free to change it, free to modify anything that you want to make it appear the way that you want. So yeah. If anyone has any like questions, even if they're just like completely out of the box, like feel free to ask. So are we like understanding the code? Is it like pretty simple, or does it just look like, oh my god, this is too much?
If you have any questions, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, if there aren't any further questions, if you guys weren't able to get the vertical nav bar like working today, we'll be sure to like send that code along very soon. Hopefully, like we could even like get it sent like by tomorrow. CSS is not working. Okay, so one common like cause of that is right here. So where it says style.css, if you go to index.html or women's clothing.html, any of your HTML files, at the top it should say link href style.css, and this name should match up with this name. The name of your CSS file should match up with the link that's right here next to this like style sheet thing. So if these two names don't match up, then that's like a common issue. So just give a yes or no, like are these two names matching, or and like check all the HTML files, like is that name matching? It's not. Okay, so this name right here, style.css, should be the same as this. Okay, so if that's not the issue, then another common issue is that if you go into your assets folder, is there another folder inside? So when you click this drop down, is there another folder inside? It doesn't say CSS on the index file. Okay, it should. So where it says head, and like inside of this like head tag, make sure that you have this line of code. So this will help it work. Okay. So make sure to post this inside the head tag. Yeah, and hopefully that should work. Okay, cool, that's perfect. Yeah, great to hear. So yeah, like I said, this is just a template. You guys are free to change any I guess information on this. So if you don't want it to be a clothing website, you can literally just download your own images from like maybe Google Images or something. Like maybe you want like pictures of sports, or maybe you want pictures of something else. Yeah, yeah. Make sure to spell things correctly. Exactly. Yeah, you guys are like free to customize this if you want to like put any pictures of your own. So let's say like instead of clothing pictures, you want like sports pictures or something like that. Feel free to put those in. And you can create your own like ESPN website, right? This is just like a boilerplate or a template or whatever you want to call it. And
Are there any additional questions you had for Neha?
but yeah, thank y'all for like following along. Especially those of y'all who like attended every session starting from week 1. Like, thank you so much for attending. It really helps to have like live participation and seeing all your questions and seeing when things work and being able to fix things that don't work. I think that sometimes it can be a little frustrating to try to like fix code, and it's like, oh no, where did my code go wrong? But once you learn how to fix code and you try to get better at it, it's like a really fun process. So yeah, just keep coding. Even if it's just modifying this website as much as you want, just like keep coding, keep trying things. So now you know how to make websites.
Thank you, Neha, for your wisdom and sharing all of your information and the tips. We wanted to thank you for joining today. I'd like to give a special thank you again to our presenters at SWE for this amazing 5-week program series. We appreciate you being here, and I'd like to share a few resources with you as we wrap today. Let me take a minute to share my screen. So PPL, Plano Public Library, is more than just books. For more hands-on STEAM activities, Plano Public Library offers STEAM kits for all ages. STEAM kits include learning components for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math to support STEAM-based learning. Our teen STEAM kits focus on technology and problem solving. Check out kits like the Teen Kano Computer Kit, Teen Little Bits, Arduino Kit, and Teen Raspberry Pi 3 Kit. To see more STEAM kits, check out the Plano Public Library catalog. Plano Public Library offers 3D printing services at Davis, Harrington, and Parr libraries. Use 3D design software programs like Tinkercad to design your own 3D model. Submit your design as an STL file on a USB flash drive and let Plano Public Library print your creation. For more information on how to submit your 3D design, pricing, and 3D printing classes, check out the Plano Public Library website. Your Plano Public Library card also grants you access to thousands of courses on LinkedIn Learning. Expand your website development skills by checking out courses on website design and development. You can access LinkedIn Learning on the Plano Public Library website under Research and Learn. It should be noted, however, that Frisco residents unfortunately do not have access to this service. So be sure to stay up to date with Plano Public Library by following our Facebook page and checking out our blog at planolibrarylearns.org. There you can find recordings of past programs and other materials about how to take advantage of everything Plano Public Library has to offer. Please complete our program survey, which should pop up following this program. We value your feedback and thank you again for joining us today for STEAM Skills website development.